Well, no, I'm not going to change your political system. I'm wanting your people to be happy, and mine, and happier than they are at present. And I encourage such, but I don't force such. I'm not pressing it on you. If we have a disagreement over something, it's over an issue. What can we do about that issue? Not hate each other as a solution and then blow each other to bits so that someone else starts the new world because we're no longer left in it. That's not the way. We're not going to do that. What's the problem? Well, the problem at the minute might be US has got a balance of payments deficit. That means dollars are flowing out and floating around the world, and that's a bit destabilizing. And someone who feels they are my enemy is probably using the advantage to build up more military strength against me. That's my concern. What can we do about this? What are my specific goals that I'm asking for? Let's be clear. I'm not asking for you to dismantle your Communist Party and, embrace capitalism in the way that, or democracy in the way that I conceive of it. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking that, I'm just saying that this is a problem for me and I don't know how best to solve it. According to the way the world is set up at the minute, we need to keep to a code of ethics in trading that help us avoid this dilemma that we feel we're in. Now, obviously, I have certain things that I can do. I can put up trade barriers. I can devalue faster than you, or I can increase some tariffs faster than you can, attempt to, and, may the best man win, and we're not going to love each other at the end of the day, are we? We probably both hate each other. That's not the way forward. If you're in great need, if you're faced with a disaster, we wish to help. And if we're faced with a disaster, we would most appreciate your help. I don't mean at unlimited cost of us becoming communist or you becoming capitalist for argument's sake, or Western democratic. I'm not asking for that. If you need help, come to help. And if you're the same, then we know that at heart we have a basis for negotiation. And it will be a compromise. It won't be quite what we want, and it won't be quite what you want, but it'll be a lot better than warring with each other, because that gets out of hand very fast, and none of us really benefit. Who are the victors in war? I mean, Europe was more than decimated, was wrecked, impoverished. People were starving by the time you get to the end of the Second World War. Just through fighting each other. Both sides. Loser and victor. All the countries in great trouble. by the grace and the self-interest of the United States, we recovered. The victor, in some sense, took the right course, didn't they? They didn't, for instance, in the Japanese war, execute the emperor for war crimes. They didn't, apart from, a few top Nazis, I agree, but on the Western Front, execute everyone who'd been a Nazi or associated with it. And they refinanced the economy to get it back on its feet. Oh, sure, there were restrictions about, not building up another military force that could be used against the neighbours. And its trading and position was in the interest of the United States. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. But a situation far better than war. And as it turns out, far better than the 1930s. Okay, you say I'm biased. Well, yeah, I would be biased because I come from a Western so-called democratic society. But how about if you look at the Russian Revolution? I mean, life under the Tsars, for the bulk of the population, was poverty and awful. And communism did change that. At some cost. Yeah, I mean, it persecuted certain minorities. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And they suffered badly. Yeah, I agree. But you can't say it was all bad. And you certainly can't say what it replaced was all good. Can we live in a world where countries have different value systems? Different religions? Yeah, I think so. Different cultures? Yeah, I think we can. We have rules of sovereignty. They have a right to do this, and they do. I mean, it's not our way. We wouldn't treat people quite like that, but they do. If they want to change it, they as a unity, as an entity, a country, will adjust or will change gradually. Not by our imposition, though. Anything could happen if we do that. We could destroy all of us, especially with our modern technology. We're not a threat to you. We've not come to destroy what you have. We come to be a blessing, and we ask that you help us be blessed in the following ways. You can't give all we ask for, of course. But we can compromise, can't we? And we can be a help and a support to each other. A harmony. We can. We should be clear on what our goals are. America's running at the minute a phenomenal balance of payments debt, I gather. Balance of payments deficit. Well, it needs to be reduced. Well, they'll probably live with something that was a quarter the size quite happily for quite a long time. Perhaps it has to be solved in the end. It can't go on forever. I don't know. Do we want the dollar as the international currency? Possibly not all of us. Can we put up with that? Yeah, well, is it in our interest to? How can it be made to be a blessing? There are ways. There are things we can do, things we can come to an agreement on. if we earnestly seek agreement, because we earnestly believe agreement is always better than war. In a state of war, we suddenly decide it's worth killing you for what I want. Oh my goodness. What sort of world do you want to live in if you're ready to do that? Thank you, Heavenly Dad.